Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on your perspective on the world. And welcome. My name is Brandon Wendell, Chartered Market Technician, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the Nifty and Bank Nifty and do some analysis on those markets with you to just give you my opinion as to what's going on and what might be possibly going on this week in the markets. So we'll start off taking a look at a weekly view of the Nifty. As you can see, we had a pretty good rally, but met with a bit of a pullback at the end of December, trying to rally again, and just not sure what's going on here with this market. If we take a look at the rally to the upside here, we retraced pretty deep, it looks like, all the way back to about 78.6%, which is a kind of deep retracement that usually signals there could be weakness coming in the future for that security, especially because we're going to see got kind of a weak rally going on right now. If we use a Fibonacci extension or projection, whoops, missed that a little bit, you can see that on our push to the upside, right there, we rallied, retraced, and our extension only made it to the 0.618 extension. So we're right on schedule for the pullback. And overall, this is kind of forming a giant double top formation. You can see that when we moved up originally, made those new all-time highs back here in October, we did it with quite a bit of momentum. There was also a small divergence, as you can see, where prices were moving up. The momentum was moving down, so we lost bullish momentum, and that led to this pullback that we experienced. We basically hit this area of kind of demand right here. It's just this one candle for the most part. There's a rally-based rally demand zone and bounced out of that area. So we ended up pushing up to some new fresh highs right here. We do have good momentum, but we failed to break the previous high, as you can see, obviously. So this may be a giant double top formation, which, if it is, becomes a giant reversal signal for the markets. So if that's the case, typically the measured move is the height of the second peak, which is right here, extended downwards from the break. Takes you pretty much right into the next weekly area of demand. You got rally, base, base, and then rally. So that's suggesting that if we do start breaking down, we can continue to break to the downside all the way down to about 14,928 on the Nifty if that continues. So keep an eye out. We're not in bearish territory yet. The momentum is still bullish. We went above 60. We are not going below 40, even 50 as we pull back. So this may not be done, but we are experiencing a weekly retracement. So we can now apply the Fibonacci retracements on our weekly chart here and see where we might be pulling back to. So I dropped down to a daily chart, and what we're going to look for is overlap, where there's a zone overlapping with one of the fib levels. Well, unfortunately, we do not have that. We do have this area of demand. I guess it kind of overlaps with the 78.6 again, so lots of weakness. You have rally, base, base, rally, and we've paused a little bit right now at the 50% retracement. If that's all we get, a 50% retracement, this will be kind of critical for this week, actually. That'll be bullish for the markets. Let me explain what happens here, what we need to look for. Basically, we're focusing on the current candle here. It's a doji candle, which basically shows indecision. You've got a high and a low that are pretty far away from the close, and the open and close are almost the exact same. So you got indecision on price, and then again, those wicks on either side. So if we can break the high of that candle, either on the open or beginning of next week, without going below 40 on the RSI, then we will make new highs in price. So I'll say it again. If we get a candle that goes up, if we break the high, which happens to be 17,707, we break that high without the RSI getting below 40, then we will continue to make new highs and get above 18,350. However, if we break the low first, then we're going to continue down to the 17,220. So keep an eye out on that candle to see what's going on. But if we do pull back, that is a very severe pullback. And if we end up going below 40, then we're not likely to make new highs. So if this happens instead, where we end up breaking down, then I would expect a weak move back up. As a matter of fact, I can tell you where it's likely to move to. Right here. We would have that rally, this pullback. And it's showing that it would make new highs, but I don't see that happening. Actually, I should probably go from here. There it is. That would be your target. So what is likely to happen is if we do continue to break down this week below 17,485. Look for a bounce at 17,220 to go to 18,159 before that continues to stall out, and then we get our overall reversal and move back down. So that's what I'm seeing so far on the Nifty. If we drop into smaller time frames, let's see if we can fine tune this, see if there's anything else going on. We do have an area of supply overhead too. So even if we do start to rally and make that high above that 17,707, we're going to run into some problems here at 17,886 anyway. As you can see, there's a little bit of weakness there. So that could cause a little bit of problem on our move back up. But again, the main one is the daily zone that I'm looking at to see if we're continuing the move or if we're reversing the move in the markets. And on the smaller time frame, let's see if there's anything else below. Not really. You know, this demand zone, it's the same. I'm just going to leave it. We're hitting, see, are we hitting anything yet? No, we have another demand a little bit higher, 61.8% right here. Rally base rally. That could cause a little bit of a pause as we're moving down, but ultimately I still think we're getting down to the 17,220 if we break the low of the daily candle, 17,485. I don't see us doing anything but pausing here on that move. So that's what I'm seeing on the Nifty. If you're looking for what might happen initially off the open, we go down to a 60-minute chart and you can just see sideways action. We don't really know. So until we break one direction or the other, if we break up, you saw what's likely to happen. We're likely to keep moving up, maybe pause a little bit at 886. But if we break down first, obviously lots of weakness to be able to continue to the downside there. Going over to the Bank Nifty. Here we are. We'll go out to the weekly chart first and look at the big picture. And pretty much same thing. You know, you had your impulse up, correction down. We didn't make it all the way back up. We started retracing already and had a pretty deep retracement here as well. Oops, that's the wrong spot. There it is. So it looks like it went almost to 78.6. Didn't quite get there. So anyway, we are stalling out right now. One of the problems with the Bank Nifty is we didn't go bearish because we didn't get below 40, but on this current rally up, you can see we stalled before we even got, well, I guess this is weekly supply. Yeah, it certainly is. We hit weekly supply right here. And when we hit that weekly supply, we could not get above 60. This is suggesting that we're actually possibly impulsing down now. So the weakness is there. The fact that we made a high right here with the RSI below 60 is a very bearish sign for these markets. And that's suggesting that, in fact, we're likely to continue to move down. So we've got previous impulse, measure the new one, where our first target is 34,000, second target 31,000. And it's not really a great demand zone there. The next really good weekly demand is pretty far down. That's excellent demand, by the way, 24,809 with lots of buying pressure there. So we're likely to keep seeing selling pressure continue on the Bank Nifty, putting up pressure on the other markets as well. And if I go down to the daily time frame, let's see if we can fine tune this at all. Any more ideas of what's going on? Well, that's about it. We're sitting at this supply zone as well. Kind of looking at that weekly, which you take down to the daily. You see we're already moving down. There is nothing to hold us up here. I don't see this as a quality zone. I think we should be able to get right through that on the daily. So I'd still be targeting these other areas. Now the question is, are we going to be able to get short anywhere? And the problem is, unless you're trading breakouts, it's kind of difficult. We might have a little bit of a bounce now. I say that because you have rally, base, base, and a slight rally here. That's not a great demand zone though. Yes, you had a high with some follow through. Let me get rid of this zone so we can see things better. So right there you have a rally, new high, new high. So this is demand, but we're going deep into the demand zone, which is not a good thing. Usually the demand's going to work well. You shouldn't go very deep into it. But again, you know, we could get a small bounce here. But I'd be using that small bounce as a new opportunity to look for shorts. So going down to the 4-hour time frame, let's see if we got any supply zones. Nothing here. I was hoping there'd be somewhere we could go short. I just don't see anything yet. So be patient and wait for it. We are definitely going to bounce. You see all the buying pressure on these wicks too. Those bottom tails, that's all buying pressure. And I just don't see anything as an opportunity as of yet. I don't see any opportunity to go long or short. The only thing you might have is, again, when we go back to, where's the 240? Impulse down, possible correction back up. There's just no supply zones to line up with any of those levels. But I think if we do bounce, I'm going to look for short opportunities. And again, we'll get rid of this one that's already used. There may be shorting opportunities at the 38.2 retracement, 50%, 61.8, any one of these. This one doesn't look too bad. We have a bit of a gap down, lots of selling pressure, or vacuum of buyers there, and you've got both the 38.2 and the 50% right in that range. So I would look at one of those levels as a possible shorting opportunity to continue to push price down towards that 34,000 level. So I imagine that for this week, what we're going to see is a little bit of a move up and then a big collapse in the Bank Nifty. So that's what I'm seeing on some of those Indian markets. If you got any questions, let me know. Feel free to comment below. Make sure you hit the like button and also hit subscribe so you get notified when I'm doing new videos every week. And if you like it, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know what I can do to improve. Until next time, trade safe, trade well, and take care.